give you guidance of what He has planned for your life. So when you allow the Lord to speak into your life and in your heart, He will give you the wisdom, and He will give you the guidance that you are seeking for what you need to do from here on out.
You gonna say something? Huh? You gonna say something?
You let him say something at the end.
Yeah, you want to say?
Who's next? I got you, Zach. You wanna go next?
You want to say something?
Anybody else?
I'm waiting for the adults to go.
Mommy.
They always go. They usually always go.
Markis, I want to say something. You know, I think it's really awesome when you have opportunities, because opportunities are things that can come to us, and we can grab them and make the most of it, or they can pass us by and we can miss it. And I'm so excited that this opportunity has come and that you're grabbing it and you're not going to let it pass you by. Opportunities are a gift. So this is a gift given, and all gifts require a little work sometime, right, or effort, but they're worth it. They're meant to bless us. They're meant to put us in a better place. And this is an opportunity from the Lord for you. It's an answer to a question, right? It brings, it opens doors for your future, and it gives you options. And in life, you want to have choices. Options, choices, same thing. You want to have choices. So when you're finished with this, you'll have all kinds of choices. And as a young man, that's one of the best things you can have. You always want to have healthy choices that you can make. You can be that electrician that your mom talked about, or you can be a welder, or you can be a heavy equipment operator. Those are 3 solid, well-paying choices that you'll have in addition to whatever else you learn while you're gone. And it's not even a long time that you have to go, and it's not even a far distance. In order for me to have an opportunity, I had to leave my country to have the opportunity. I left my family all the way in the Bahamas as a young girl. I was 19 when I came here. And I left one nation, traveled by plane a long distance to come to this nation among people I didn't know. When I got here, I heard of one Bahamian friend that I could connect with. I hadn't spoken to them yet. I knew no one. So if I could do it, you can do it too. And I'm very excited for you. This is a beautiful day. So enjoy your opportunity. Enjoy the highs and the lows, because life has highs and lows. But remember, you're just going to the goal. You're finishing towards the end. Just keep the end in mind. When I'm coming out of here, I'm coming out with choices. And those are excellent choices for someone your age. So you're coming out on top. Yay. Your mom did great hooking you up with choices. Okay, that's a A1 looking out mom. So you gotta remember this. Yeah, this is an A1 looking out mom. Some people don't have parents. I've worked in the system. A lot of young men your age don't have parents who seek out opportunities for them the way your mom has. Okay? All right? Trust me. Age talking. Good opportunity.
I remember when we first moved to South Carolina, and we stayed, I think it was 2 years, and I can remember when we had moved back to Kentucky, and everybody was like, "Oh, I knew you wasn't gonna stay. I knew you couldn't do it." But you know, as I sat there, and I think it was 5 more years before we actually moved back down here. And I was like, okay, Lord, I know what things that don't look right at the moment, but I know what I'm seeking for. And I wanted, my kids to have better things and more opportunities. And I knew that I had to leave Kentucky to give y'all a better opportunity to choose from different lifestyles. And so I asked the Lord before we had moved down here, I said, Lord, show me a dream or a vision that I know that it's time for us to pack up and leave. And I know when Shaquan was like a senior and he didn't want to go, but I knew when I asked the Lord to show me that it was time, and he gave me a dream. I'll never forget that dream. It was me, Fred, Yolande, Margaret, and Kim was all sitting around the table, and we was sharing dinner. And I remember it was Brenda Todd. She was like in the head of the table. And I was like, okay, Lord, what's this dream mean? And when I had shared with one of my friends what the dream was, how the dream was, and she had kind of interpreted it for me. And she said that I feel like the Lord was showing you your family was in agreement with your moving. And Sister Todd was an example of what Christ was like. She was like the authority was showing me that this was the time for us to go. And I thank God for that opportunity, because before I moved, from Kentucky, I gave everything up. And me not even knowing when we have moved down here that he has restored everything that he has promised that he would do. So that's why I come to you when you don't feel like, right now, you don't feel like, you having mixed signals or mixed emotions about going. But you just have to trust and believe that the Lord is going to restore, and he's going to give you everything but your heart has desired. But you have to trust and believe and put him first.
Oh.
Mr. Markis, I just want to say that I'm very proud of the fact that you're stepping out on faith, and that's what this is. You don't understand it all. It's almost like you're going into a place you don't really know. But I thought about a way to encourage you in a language you understand. In football, there are 4 innings, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the first inning. The first inning is you're going down there, you're doing whatever you need to do to go to the next inning. But keep in mind with each inning that happens, sometimes you can get a touchdown, sometimes flags will be thrown on the field. When those flags are thrown on the field, you have to remember there are referees, because you're only 3 hours away. There are referees who can tell you what happened with those flags that have been thrown on the field and what you need to do next. But the biggest referee that you can count on is the Lord. And I know that you know how to pray. And so even if it's not an immaculate or a prayer that you've heard us pray, have a conversation with God. He's going to show you, okay, in this inning, there's a flag that's on the field. So what? Get up, let's go on to the next play. We're on the first down, we're on the second down, we're on the fourth down. Then comes the next inning. So you, starting out, you're going to get your GED, first inning. You're getting yourself together, in your mind, you get your driver's license, second inning. You're still going through with your training, the trades that you're doing. In each one of those, keep in mind there's an inning in each one of those. And you got to play the right play. But you also got to have a plan. And so when you go in there, as you address each thing, don't allow those things to take you all at once. Because if you do, you'll be overwhelmed. You'll get nervous. And then you'll get fearful. And then sometimes it'll lead you off sides. And when you get off sides, what you got to do, you got to play that play over again, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you have the right play. And you might not even know what that is right now, but when you get there, I promise you, because you are deciding to step out on faith, everything's going to fall into place. When you came down you all came down when we lived in Tucker, and I remember taking you guys to the park, and there was some guys playing basketball, and you didn't know them from Adam. And so I asked Shaquan, I said, "You want to play?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Marcus, you want to play?" And you were already gone. And you went up and you just introduced yourself and started playing. And so I know it's in you to go places that are unfamiliar, to meet people that you've never known, and introduce yourself and be you. That's all you got to be, is just be you. And so it may seem fearful, but as a man that you're ready to step into, that's what men do. We step out in places that are unknown, that are unfamiliar. You know, Yolanda was talking about she left her country, you know, at 19. I left my mother's house at 17. I went to college, and I knew I wasn't going to go back. I knew that. And me and my mother had a conversation, and I told her, I said, "Mama, I know that this is the last time that I'll be back home. I mean, I'll come and visit, but I know it was time for me to get out of the nest and do whatever it is that the Lord wanted me to do." And at 17 was a very young age, but I trusted God. There were times in the summertime I would stay in Frankfurt. I would sleep on floors, but I knew the people. I keep people's apartments. I did whatever I needed to do because I was on a journey. And as a man, when you get your mind fixed and set on some things, you know, you do whatever you have to do, whatever it takes to do whatever it is God has you to do. But make sure it's God and whatever He has you to do. Because God is going to give you the grace to do it. And as you pray, He'll give you the instructions to do it. But you got to do it. He ain't going to come down and do it for you. And that's the one thing that I've learned. And keep in mind who you're representing. You are representing God. You're a representation of the kingdom of God. But you're also a representation of our family. And so where you go, you make an impact and you represent our family. You represent all the hard work, all the encouragement, all the nourishment, all the love, all the discipline that your mom has poured into you. You represent all that. That's what you're taking with you. You're taking more with you than you know. Everything that's been ingrained in you, everything that you've watched her do, everything you've watched her sacrifice, everything, all the disappointments that you've seen her go through, all of that you've seen, but you saw her still rise up. And that's the only representation of a parent that you've had. And so that's what you have to go on. Go off of that faith that you saw your mother walk in and adopt it and let it become your own. And it will be what you make it. It really will. It'll be what you make it. But I'm proud of the fact because I know what's inside of you. I know it. I see it and I know it. Even on your father's side, there are great men in your family. And they have a lot of talents, a lot of gifts. They do. And that same stuff resides in you. On both sides. You have what it takes. You do. And you need to know that. You need to understand that. When you look in the mirror, you have what it takes to stand on your own. And when you are unsure, again, you got some referees, you got some coaches. We're only a phone call away. You understand? Yeah. We're right here, so don't be afraid to reach out when it's like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make it. Put my phone on speed dial. And either I'm going to come down there and hit you on your head and tell you can do it, or I'm going to continue. I'm definitely going to be praying. But you can do it, Markis. You can. You have what it takes to do it. Everything that's inside of you, from the time that you were born, everything that's inside of you is already placed there. It's just waiting to come out. That's it.
I guess I'll go next.
Come to the light. Oh, come on, yeah.
Markis, bro, you've been like a brother. All of y'all have been like another family. Since you guys moved here, we've been so close together, and I've seen like you taught me how to shoot basketball, and you would come over there and hang out with me and Keenan. You always keep everybody so hype and lit and feeling happy. Even earlier when we were playing on my Xbox earlier, you still had like a still happy glow, and you still proud and happy, and you kept continuing. Even if you were angry or you had like a rough day at school, or like even if you were on your phone downstairs, you always still, every time you saw somebody, you would always still have a glow, and you always still be happy, and you always still make everybody laugh. You would encourage everybody and make them feel happy.